In 1728, one of Isaac Newton's papers was published in which he proposed that a cannonball fired at sufficient velocity and altitude could fall into a permanent state of orbit around the Earth. In 1988, Saddam Hussein tried to make it happen. In 1988, Saddam Hussein ordered a series of so-called space guns called Project Babylon. The designs were based on a Canadian project from the 1960s, which used a large artillery piece to launch re-entry vehicles out of the atmosphere for testing purposes, and the Iraqi project was led by the same Canadian artillery expert. American intelligence believes that Saddam ordered the design of 4 different devices. The first was designated Baby Babylon and had a 13-inch bore. After being fired horizontally for testing, it was raised to 45 degrees and was said to have a range of 450 miles. It weighed over 100 tons, but none of Iraq's regional neighbors considered it a threat. The second supergun was named Big Babylon, and 2 of them were intended. One horizontal for testing, and the other on a giant wire framework that would allow its angle to be adjusted. The barrel was 510 feet long, with the bore being a full 1 meter. When raised, it would stand over 320 feet tall at the muzzle. It's important to note that unless they were firing some sort of guided projectile, neither of these weapons could be moved for the purposes of aiming. All they could do was launch things into orbit. That, combined with the fact that it was a completely stationary platform, meant that it was completely outclassed by mobile Scud launchers when it came to being a weapon. But the next gun that was planned was designed to be entirely aimable, with a projected 1,000-kilometer range, putting Israel and most of Iran well within its radius. But in 1990, the Canadian engineer in charge of the project was abruptly assassinated in Brussels. Most of the world has accused Mossad, and Mossad has accused Iraq. All of the components for these guns were being purchased from various American and European manufacturers, but the project was supposed to be a secret. In April of 1990, several of the components were seized by UK customs when they were discovered to be disguised as petrochemical pressure vessels, with other components being seized in Turkey, Greece, Switzerland, and Spain. After the 1991 Gulf War, the Iraqi government admitted to the existence of Project Babylon and allowed UN inspectors to destroy all remaining Iraqi components. Several surviving seized barrel sections are on display at the Royal Armouries in Portsmouth, UK.